The EOS M6 is the content creator's mirrorless camera. Whether you're shooting videos or stills, this camera is packed full of features to help your content stand out. If you haven't already seen it, check out the first video in this series where I take a close look at some of the basic features of the EOS M6. In this video, I'm going to look at some of the more advanced features and share with you some tips and tricks to help you do more with your camera. So let's get started. So, what is AV mode? The AV mode allows us to select an aperture to control our depth of field. So let me show you a little bit more. In this setup, I've selected a low aperture number, so f5.6, and I'm going to focus on the item closest to the camera with the camera's touchscreen. As you can see in this shot, I've selected a shallow depth of field, which means that the items closest to the camera are nice and sharp and the background becomes blurry. Now, if we select a larger aperture number, for example, f20 or f22, let's have a look at the difference. We have focus right from the foreground through to the background, which would be ideal for landscapes. Okay, let's move on to TV mode. TV is controlling our shutter speed, which allows us to have some control over the motion in the shot. When I select a fast shutter speed, I can freeze any fast action that's happening and take a nice sharp shot. When I select a slow shutter speed, I'm really going to capture that motion as it happens. So let's try both. So with a slow shutter speed, I'm really capturing all of that movement as the little bobblehead moves from side to side. Now, if I want to freeze that action, I need to select a much faster shutter speed. So I'm going to move this dial at the front here, and I'm going to go up to 1/800th of a second. As you can see, although it's moving, we had a fast enough shutter speed and it just froze that action. Another great feature that this camera has is the built-in time-lapse movie mode. So to activate that, you need to turn the main dial around to the movie mode. To access the different options that the time-lapse movie mode has, simply press this button here and the time-lapse movie settings menu will pop up. You can scroll through shooting scenes, interval and shots. So within this menu, we can select how many photos we want to take and at what intervals. The next one down, exposure. This camera will allow us to select, do you want your exposure to be fixed throughout the entire time lapse, or do you want the exposure to be adjusted in every shot? And finally, the last one, do you want to review the image? You can enable or disable this. One thing that I really love, it does the math for you. So here you can see the time required to photograph this particular time lapse is 20 minutes, and that will result in a playback time of 12 seconds. Now we're going to talk through the different AF modes. So when we press this button here, the menu will pop up and it says, what method do you want to use for your autofocus? The first one is the face tracking. This is fantastic for when you're taking photos with people in them. It will automatically track your subject using their faces. The second one is Smooth Zone AF, so this will focus on a designated area within the frame. And the last is One Point AF. So focusing using the selected AF point, this is great for when you want very precise focusing. The other option you have within your AF choices is you can shoot in one shot, which is perfect for focusing on still subjects. Otherwise, you can focus in AI Servo. AI Servo is perfect for focusing on a moving subject. So if you're trying to capture the kids at play, perhaps the birds moving, surfing, this is a great mode to shoot in. Now, if you're not too sure about what settings you should be using, pop around to scene mode. Within the scene mode, it has 9 preset custom modes that are really going to help you get more out of your photos. Okay, let's take a quick look at some of the options within the scene mode. We have portrait, landscape, macro, which would be ideal for a close-up subject, sports mode, excellent for anything fast moving. We also have a designated mode for panning and also handheld night mode. Another really great thing that I love about this camera is the Creative Assist filters. Here you can select from a variety of different filters for a soft focus, toy camera. Really helps to add a new look and feel to your images. Now, if you don't select it before you take the photo, don't worry, you can always go back through the playback mode and apply the filter afterwards. Now, if you would like to assign a different feature to one of the buttons within the camera, you need to do this within the camera's custom controls. To do that, press this little button here on the back of the screen, and you'll notice the custom control menu pops up. Within this menu, you have a bunch of different options that you can do. For example, if I wanted to change this MFN button on the top of the camera to say, record a movie, I can do that here. So I simply select the MF button, and I have a variety of different options that I can assign to that button. So I'm going to select movies. When you're ready, press the set button to lock that in. Within the camera menu, you have picture styles. If you haven't already discovered them, check them out. I use them all the time and I absolutely love them. For my monochrome black and white photography, I do this by selecting the picture style button, which is located on the back of the camera here. And then I simply jump across to monochrome. Now, if you want to customize your monochrome images, you can also do this within camera. When you have this menu set on the camera, simply press the info button. Here you can jump in and really customize your monochrome images. So if you like them very contrasty, increase the sharpness, decrease the sharpness, you can do that within this menu here. Okay, now if you've been exploring the camera a little bit too much and you've changed a bunch of features and you just want it back to the way that it used to be, you can reset the camera back to factory settings. Now to do this, simply press the menu button on the back of the camera and you're going to find it in the yellow menu. Look for Reset Camera and simply reset the basic features. Now you're good to go. I hope this video has helped you get to know your EOS M6 a little bit